Just because there's a lot of circular motion in the breaststroke pull doesn't mean the pull is fundamentally different from the other strokes. In fact, when it comes to creating propulsion, it's exactly the same. Let's talk about why. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. This is a quick fire controversy, and we're talking about controversial subjects in skill development in swimming. In each case, I'll let you know where things stand and what I think. If there's a topic you'd like covered, drop it in the comments below. Fact, there is a lot of lateral motion during the breaststroke pull, much more so than other strokes. The real question is why. First off is the entry. And so in butterfly and freestyle, the hands are entering about shoulder width, and during breaststroke, the recovery is straight forwards, so the hands are entering right in front of the face, right in front of the head. That's where the pull starts. So they're entering in very different positions. So in breaststroke, the hands need to get over into that wider position in order to set up an effective stroke. So right off the bat, we have a lateral motion in the beginning of the pull, not so much to hold water or to scull, but simply to reposition the arms outside the shoulders so that they're in a position to create a lot of propulsion and to set up the stroke effectively. So if you notice, if you watch things in slow motion, once swimmers slide out, the front end of the breaststroke pull looks exactly the same as the butterfly pull. They're in the exact same position and they're ready to create propulsion in that position. The difference is there's that lateral component in breaststroke because the hands have to slide from their entry point into the appropriate position to create propulsion with the arms. It's not so much a sculling, but a repositioning. From that position, the front half of the pull is exactly the same. There's a big surface area using the whole arm, and the arm squeezes into the body. But there is a difference, and that's that the arms have to recover under the water forward, and they can't travel back down to the hips. And so at some point, the arms can't continue to move backwards. They have to transition so that the arms can be recovered under the water. So towards the end of that squeeze, everything stops coming backwards, and everything is going to come a little bit more in. It's not necessarily to maximize the pull, it's to transition the arms to the recovery. The majority of the pull, the most powerful aspect of the pull, has already happened, and so now swimmers are kind of bailing on that last little bit so that they can recover the arms as smoothly as possible. And as a result, we're going to have lateral motion to set up the hands so that they can recover forward. So the elbows start to come in more instead of just traveling back, and the hands more or less stay stationary because we don't want them down by the hips. We want them right in front of the chest so that swimmers can recover them forward. And if swimmers don't do that, the hands are going to end up down the hips, and yes, they will create more propulsion by doing so. The problem is they're going to create infinitely more drag trying to pull the arms up under the body to recover them forward under the water. It's just not worth it, so swimmers transition out of that pull, and there's going to be lateral motion as a result, so they can smoothly transition into the recovery. It's a whole lot smoother to do so in a relatively circular manner as opposed to an abrupt linear manner, and that allows swimmers to continue to get a little bit more out of the pull, and it minimizes the amount of resistance they create as they try to transition to the recovery. The most important concept, though, is that the pull itself is the same. The front end of the setup, the squeeze into the body, that's all the same. What's different is the transition to the setup and the transition to the recovery. And that's where we get those lateral motions, those circular motions, because it allows swimmers to transition smoothly, to get into the right position smoothly, and to get out of those positions smoothly as well. If swimmers don't slide out, they're not going to get in a good position to pull. And if they don't transition out of the pull into the recovery early, they're going to have a really hard time recovering those arms without creating a ton of resistance. And that extra pull isn't going to get them much, if any, propulsion. So again, the circular aspect of the pull is not necessarily propulsive. It exists so as much propulsion as possible can be created with as minimal negative consequences as possible. That's the real purpose of the lateral and circular motions. If you want to learn more about the breaststroke pull, check out the video here.